Hello. My guest today is the Recorder of Deeds for the City of St. Louis, also a former state representative, entrepreneur, businessman, Michael Butler, today on The Bernie Hayes Show. And welcome back. I'm Bernie Hayes. My guest is the Recorder of Deeds for the City of St. Louis and candidate for the mayor of St. Louis, Michael Butler. Mike, hi, good to see you.
Good to see you too, Bernie. I'm honored to be here. It's going to be a good time.
You gave me an award a couple years ago, man. I still treasure that.
That means a lot, yes, at our Black History Month program.
Yeah, it was beautiful,
You are
man.
a living legend. And it's just an honor to know you.
No, that's reverse. That's reciprocity.
Thank you.
You are the businessman. You are the Recorder of Deeds. You are the former state rep. You are the man who has vision. Tell us about your vision, Michael.
I believe that St. Louis can be a much better town, and I believe that St. Louis is like a large mansion. A friend of mine named Tamika Stigers has put this picture in my head that we're a large mansion with a big old hole in the roof. And we're a 3-story mansion from south side, central corridor to north side. And we've got this big hole in our roof that we've got to put as many resources as possible to fix that hole in the roof. If you owned a house that was beautiful on the outside, and the first floor was looking great, second floor just as good, wouldn't you put a lot of money, millions of dollars, towards fixing that hole in the roof so when it snows and it rains on the property, it doesn't trickle all the way down to the second and first floor? We've got $292 million of RAM settlement money. We've got still some millions of dollars of ARPA funds. My vision is that we're putting that money towards population increase and improving our North City, which is like reducing vacant housing, supporting our public schools, and reducing crime in our city, fixing the hole in the roof so that folks who are living on the third floor are more sustainable, are enjoying their life, and as well increasing the amount of people that are living on the third floor when the roof is fixed. Now imagine on the third floor you got the best view. So if we can make North City what it can be, it could be the best place for people to live in our city. I
agree. Michael, I've known you for a long time. Your dedication to public service. Why are you dedicating your life to public service?
Well, I worked in corporate America for a little bit, Bernie. When I first got out of college, I had a business management degree. It was 2008 during the economic downturn, and I was at least smart enough to get a job at a little company you might have heard of called Walmart Stores Incorporated.
I remember.
And I had a cool job as a 22-year-old. I was a liquor buyer. I bought beer, wine, and spirits for about 600 Sam's Clubs across the country. Wow. And I hated my job. I absolutely hated getting up too early in the morning and working for some billionaires till middle of the evening till about 5, 6 o'clock at night. I realized that my job had no purpose. And I decided during that time that I wanted to live a life of purpose, not just about making money. And one of my mentors at the time told me, if that's what you want to do, if you want to be home and to change your city for the better, then you need to leave right now before you get married and have kids and you get stuck here. So lucky for me, I was able to go to graduate school, get a master's degree in public administration. I interned in the state legislature. Then I became a legislative aide. I worked my way up to being a state representative in Jefferson City. And then I got married and had 2 kids. And I decided to run for a local office, and that's how I became the Recorder of Deeds.
Okay. Tell us a little bit more about Michael Butler. Who is Michael Butler?
Michael Butler is a young man from the south side of St. Louis who played a baseball game and decided to make life more fair for everyone. So what I want to do as mayor, and what grounds me as a person, is at 9 years old, I played for Herbert Hoover Boys and Girls Club. And I was playing a game one day that I knew the other team was cheating. They were going up into second base with their cleats up. Oh, wow. And as a shortstop, that was very hard for me to get the ball to first base. And when they were going to third base, they throw dirt in the air to keep me from getting the ground ball. And I don't like to say the name of the team we were playing that day, but I can tell you, Bernie, the team's name rhymed with Schmatthews and Schmickey. Okay. And the Schmatthews Schmickey folks love to hear me say that they won that game. And they won that game so good that I cried to my dad that day. And I said, Dad, it's not fair. You said that cheaters never win. And my dad gave me that age-old line that he used to tell me all the time. He said, "Son, life isn't fair." And when we grew up on the South Side and the State Street, some days we didn't have enough to eat. My dad would say, "Son, life isn't fair." And when I was born without the bones formed correctly in my right leg, and I had to wear a Forrest Gump boot on my leg for the first 5 years of my life, my brothers and sisters would be running around, and I couldn't. My dad would say, "Son, life isn't fair." So about me is I grew up as a poor kid in St. Louis who actually was born with a disability and overcame that with the help of Medicaid and good parents. I was an athlete who didn't have any advantages as far as height or weight or financial, and was able to be a decent athlete in high school. And I went to college on a partial track scholarship and academic scholarship, and I've been blessed to be successful even despite all that. Like many of our folks in St. Louis are very resilient people.
As a recorder of deeds, what is your job?
As a recorder of deeds, I'm an elected administrator who's responsible for all the birth records, death records, marriage licenses, and all the land deeds of the city. Okay. So all the important documents of our city, we are tasked with keeping them safe and available, and then when you're ready to access them, we have the ability to give you them and have them ready for you. So my biggest job has been to make all of those services online and make those documents available to you so you don't have to come to City Hall to access your city government. The second thing I've done is in city government, we've renovated the office to where if you do have to come to City Hall, if you do want to see us in person, you have a top-notch experience. Okay. And we have increased our revenue in that office by $700,000 annually. We increased the staff productivity by 25%. We increased our customer service space by 100% over the past 4 years. And I'm very proud of the work that the staff at the Recorder of Deeds office do every day.
Michael, your education and your experience, how has that prepared you for the job of mayor?
My education has blessed me immensely. I originally wanted to get a law degree. Okay. And turns out lawyers don't make good politicians. And politicians usually don't make good lawyers either, by the way. But I got a master's degree in public administration because it focused on the legislative and executive branch, not the judicial branch that law degree does. And it has put me light years ahead of many of my colleagues when I was in the State House and being in the executive branch in City Hall. I understand HR practices much better than other folks. I understand how the judicial branch cases play into some of our executive rules and regulations. I understand how important it is to take some risks that are calculated risk in order to get things done. And most importantly, having gone to public schools my entire life, I understand people and how the urgency that they need and how important government is to make their lives better. I've been a part of several public programs that improved my life, from Medicaid to public schools to the Pell Grant in college. And without those, I wouldn't be able to have that education that has helped me help so many other people.
You also led the Democratic Party, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
Tell us about that.
I was the first African-American ever in the state to run a state party. Yeah. Democrat, Republican, Green Party, where no other African-American in the history of our state has ran a state party. And it was an amazing experience to represent our city, our community, as well as our Democratic Party at that level, and as a DNC member to the Democratic National Committee in D.C. I would say the most important thing that I did as state party chair was go through the redistricting process against Republicans who had the governorship and a supermajority. And I was very blessed to be partnered with a colleague of mine from the State House, State Representative Randy Dunn, as our executive director. And we were light years, I won't say light years, we were ahead of the Republicans at every step of the way. And we were successful in getting more Democrat seats in the legislature and the largest black caucus in the history of our state at the same time. Wow. On top of it, I got to give some kudos to Jerry Hunter, who was on an African-American Republican on the Republican side, who played a role in that in helping us. St. Louisan, who is a good fraternity brother of mine, who is a part of that legacy as well. But it was running a Democratic Party was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that I am glad I had a chance to do.
Okay. The candidate for mayor of the city of St. Louis, Michael Butler, is my guest, and we're at the New Life Evangelistic Center, 2428 Woodson Road in Overland, Missouri, and we'll be right back with Michael Butler after this.
Hey, viewers of the Bernie Hayes Show, have you ever seen so many people as you travel around the streets of St. Louis City, St. Louis County, over in Illinois, Jefferson County, St. Charles County, that are homeless? So many out on street corners, so many people are having to sleep outside in vacant buildings. The New Life Evangelistic Center's got teams going out every day, working among those individuals, taking them hundreds of bottles of water every week, hundreds and hundreds of sandwiches, and now we're having to get blankets and sleeping bags and tents, long underwear, even making little canned heaters, just so many, many needs. And that's why your involvement in New Life Evangelistic Center is so very important. You could be a volunteer and go out on the streets with us. Call us at 314-421-3020. To go to our website at nlecstl.org to learn about them there. Feel free to call us at 314-421-3020. Please remember the work of New Life Evangelistic Center in your prayers. And please share that much-needed gift. New Life receives no city, state, or federal dollars. And your giving is so very, very important. And it goes so far in New Life Evangelistic Center. We have a dedicated team of volunteers and trainees that take every dollar that you send in and provide $3 worth of direct services helping the poor and the homeless, the fatherless, the widowed. Please get your business involved, your church involved, and send those gifts to New Life Evangelistic Center, P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri. That's 63166. Or you can give online at nlecstl.org. We need your partnership at this particular time. Our teams are going out daily among the poorest of the poor, and we need your help now as we move in these winter months. Your gifts, your prayers are absolutely essential at this moment.
Benjamin Banneker, author, scientist, mathematician, farmer, astronomer, publisher, and urban planner, who descended from enslaved Africans, an endured servant, and free men and women of color. Young Benjamin grew up in Baltimore County, one of 200 free blacks among the population of 4,000 slaves and 13,000 whites. At the age of 22, having seen only 2 timepieces in his lifetime, a sundial and a pocket watch, Banneker constructed a striking clock almost entirely out of wood. Based on his own drawings and calculations, the clock continued to run until it was destroyed by fire 40 years later. He died in 1806. On the day of his burial, the house and its contents, including his clock, caught fire and burned to the ground. Benjamin Banneker.
Is fear grabbing you as you hear of world events, the ever-growing crisis in the Middle East, wars and rumors of war? Is fear destroying your life? You can begin to live right now. You can rise up in the middle of such a time like this, exercising your faith in the reality that God loves you. He sent His Son who took your sins upon Himself. He died on that cross. He rose from the dead. Yes, accept that hope that is yours, both now and for all eternity, by calling on the name of the Lord.
Welcome back. Michael Butler, the Recorder of Deeds for the City of St. Louis and candidate for mayor for the City of St. Louis, is my guest. And Michael Butler, you told us your vision at first. Do you have a plan or action plan that you're working on?
Yes, sir.
If you become mayor.
Yes, sir. And I would like for my campaign to present an action plan as soon as possible in a downloadable PDF to voters as soon as we can. Our plan focuses on 3 major things: reducing crime, reducing the amount of vacant housing in our city, and bringing our city back to the basics by improving our government services.
Okay. How can one reach you, Mike, or help you, and even volunteer for you? Give you donations.
They can absolutely go to my website at michaelbutler.org.
Say it slow.
michaelbutler.org.
Okay.
And they can click on the donate button. They can click on the volunteer button and volunteer for us or make a contribution. We'd be happy to work with anyone that wants to work to make this city better.
Any phone numbers they can reach you at?
Sure. My cell number directly is 314-324-9163. And it's important to know that I'm not like any other politician. I'm not going to change that number once I get elected. It's going to be the same number I've had since I was 18 years old, and it's going to be my number when I'm Mayor Mike for each and every one of you.
Okay. Mike, all these the funds that the St. Louis Cardinals, football Cardinals left, and the other grants and things that run the city of St. Louis. Do you have an action plan for that?
I do. You still call them the St. Louis Football Cardinals?
Yeah.
Not the Rams. You don't like the Rams name at all, huh?
I meant the Cardinals. I meant the Rams.
No, that's good. I agree. No, that's good to remember our history, that they were originally the Cardinals.
Oh, yeah.
They belonged here with us. They should have never left. And built $1 billion stadium out west.
Yeah.
How well could that have done for our city and our region if we had an ownership that wanted to build our city? And that's what a lot of cities our size have. They have people of wealth that want to stay and build and work with the people of their community. So the $292 million that we have now originally was about $250 million, and now has gotten interest to $292. I want to do three major things with. Number one is to reduce vacant housing and build brand new housing that people can move into. My focus on that money is to make sure we're investing in increasing population in every single thing we do, and reducing vacant housing and building new infill housing and renovating existing LRA properties is number one, because housing options is something that we have to do better in St. Louis City.
Explain what LRA properties are.
LRA is the Land Reutilization Authority. It is a land bank that has tens of thousands of properties, lots and vacant homes in the city that are owned by the city government itself. I have a saying that the biggest absentee landlord in the city is the city of St. Louis. And we've got thousands of properties that we're responsible for that are making our neighborhoods look bad, and that are the biggest eyesore driving down 70 and driving through our neighborhoods that we have responsibility to fix. I want to spend $50 to $100 million either tearing down those houses and building new ones, or renovating ones that can be renovated. A portion of that also will go down to tearing down old school buildings, or renovating those school buildings to be livable spaces. Because the only thing worse than a vacant house next to a school is a vacant school building next to a house. Yeah. And there's some of our neighborhoods, we have population of folks who are living there, and they're walking out of their house staring at a vacant school. We have a responsibility as a city government, and I will take the biggest responsibility as mayor, and using Rand's money to fix those problems in our neighborhood and tear down that vacant housing. Mm-hmm. Number two, to reduce crime and to support our police department, I like to use our money to buy new equipment, non-military equipment, like improving our cars and the equipment and tools that our police officers use every day, and send about $8 million of that into making sure our police department has the best equipment it needs to succeed. And then lastly, I want to support our public schools. Okay. I'm going to spend about $25 million, $5 million a year for a 5-year commitment, with $500,000 a year going towards state and federal advocacy. So where after those 5 years, we have state and federal money to fund wraparound services for our city schools and the 20 most low-income schools that we have. What that means, wraparound services, is that I want to support a full-time nurse, a full-time therapist, and a full-time social worker in every low-income school, about 20 low-income schools in our district, and support programs that reduce the effect of poverty on student achievement. And we all know how poverty affects our students negatively. So that social worker help connect them to programs help them with food insecurity or housing insecurity. That therapists will help our students with a lot of the mental health issues that they're going through, and our kids are going through so much that we can never even imagine. Yeah. And that nurse, of course, is going to help them with their health. And you'd be surprised that most of our low-income schools don't have a full-time nurse in them. Our nurses are sharing schools and going to schools 2 or 3 days a week.
The city-county merger.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
I think that city-county merger is a solution that should happen in my lifetime and probably will happen in my lifetime. Mm-hmm. But I think that city-county merger has to benefit the African-American community in order to be successful. Okay. And in order to pass and for it to matter. A lot of people want city-county merger to improve statistics. I want city-county merger that's going to improve the livelihood of people and not hide a lot of the hurt that's going on in many of our low-income areas in our region. And there are ways to do that. There are ways for us to merge governments or for one government to acquire others that can be beneficial to folks in both areas. But a forced city-county merger in a way that only supports statistics and doesn't support people is not something that I think the community will support or that I want to see.
Looks like the state's going to take over local sort of police again. Tell us about that.
The state is interested in that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not for the state takeover of our local police department for obvious reasons. The Republican majority in Jefferson City is more interested in deportation and stop and frisk policies that are part of Project 2025. And I think it's very important that we protect St. Louis values as a city, and that we keep control of our police department. The biggest part of that, those two things, having the federal government force upon deportation policies and stop and frisk and our local law enforcement will deteriorate the relationship between the community and the police that we've worked so hard to build back up since the murder of Michael Brown.
Sure.
And we can't allow some group that isn't a part of our community to tell us how we should build those relationships in our community and keep our community safe. I also am very interested in continuing programs like the Office of Violence Prevention that prevent crime and attack the root causes of crime through reducing poverty in our communities and giving at-risk youth an opportunity to do things different in their life and give better opportunities to our youth that don't include crime.
What about the unhoused, the homeless people in St. Louis? Any plans for them?
Yes, the unhoused population in our city is one that hasn't gotten the attention it deserves over the past years. And while there are many policies to improve the different profiles of unhoused people in our community, I want to make sure everyone knows we're going to lead with compassion first. I have strong compassion for folks who find themselves close to homelessness or in homelessness, because I grew up in public housing as a child, and I was also evicted at one point as a child. And lucky for our family, we had family that we can go to and we lived with for some years. Many people who find themselves unhoused don't have that kind of support. Sure. And we have to show compassion for the trauma that our unhoused population has been through over the years of their life, and quite frankly are usually going through in that moment. And I want to support transitional housing. I want to support many of our unhoused folks being able to access housing without the barriers of getting off a substance or the barriers of sometimes their mental health issues. I want to make sure that we're taking care of their trauma and their personal issues while also providing them housing.
Great. My guest is Michael Butler, and we'll be right back after this.
It takes many partners to operate New Life Evangelistic Center. We're a large ministry operating and serving so many people all throughout Missouri. And so we appreciate so much Bernie Hayes and his many years of dedicated service to people who are experiencing homelessness all throughout Missouri. But we need people like you to partner with Bernie Hayes and with New Life Evangelistic Center to make a real impact in the lives of people who are hurting now. In a very practical way, you are being the hands and feet of Christ in the streets of St. Louis and Springfield, Missouri, and beyond. So I want to thank everyone who is partnering with New Life Evangelistic Center. I want to challenge you to get involved today for the glory of God and the good of others in our community. Thank you so much. And God bless those who are making a big impact on the lives of hurting people.
Our Black History subject for today is Free Frank McWhorter. Born in 1877, was an American slave who bought his own freedom, and in 1836 founded the town of New Philadelphia in Illinois. He was the first African American to found a town and establish a planned community in the United States. The New Philadelphia town site was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 2005 and designated a National Historic Landmark in 2009. McWhorter died September 7, 1854. McWhorter descendants donated the collected 11 volumes of the documents of the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library in February 2008. And in addition, the family donated a bronze bust of Frank McWhorter by his great-great-great-granddaughter, Shirley McWhorter Moss. The population in Philadelphia rapidly declined. By the end of the 19th century, some of the town's south had been reverted to farmland for cultivation, but other acres were inhabited through the 1920s.
Free Frank McWhorter.
As we feel the darkness pressing in upon us, both personal needs and needs in the world, society as a whole, it's easy for us to get depressed. And when we're depressed and negative and feeling hopeless, we're not going to be able to help anyone. That's why I daily have to draw strength from the Word of God. That's why I have to go on walks in the midst of the wonders of God's works. And that's why I have to be able to see something that's worked for many, many years in my life, is that Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever, that He's with us always, even to the end of the world, and that we can be a light, letting His love and power flow in us and through us in a cold, dark world. There are people hurting out there. There's people that are crying out to God at this particular moment in the midst of their desperation. Can we be led by the Holy Spirit to them? Can we believe God to reach out and let His love flow through us and by faith help them meet their needs? That's the challenges that the Lord gives us in His Word. Experience the joy of really helping somebody else and letting the light and love of Christ shine in you and through you.
And welcome back. My guest is the Recorder of Deeds for the City of St. Louis and mayoral candidate, Michael Butler. Michael, you said you had some ambitions for the City of St. Louis. Kind of report them and tell us how well again we can reach you.
Say it again.
The vision you have for the City of St. Louis, and how can we reach you?
Yes, sir. My vision for the City of St. Louis is to focus on increasing our population by focusing on the issues of why people say they don't move to our city or move away from our city. Supporting our public schools, so getting better schools, improving our housing options, so reducing the amount of vacant housing in our city and building new housing, and of course reducing crime in our city by supporting our police department, recruiting quality police officers, enforcing our city traffic laws, and attacking the root causes of crime and reducing poverty in our city. I want to make life more fair for everyone in our city. I want it to be a welcoming city that people brag about that they want to move to, and we can do that with the help of our city leaders and making sure that we're using our funds correctly and that we're creating a city that people want to move to.
Tell us about some of the things that you did in the state legislature that is still lingering now.
One of the biggest things, I passed an amendment on a bill, so I passed a piece of legislation that reduces the amount of vacant housing in our city. So what it did was allowed our building division director, building division commissioner, to put a special tax bill on absentee landlords so we can collect fines faster and quicker. And recently, there was a vote in the city of St. Louis, a Proposition V for vacant, that expanded that authority to decrease the fines we can put on those absentee landlords. And I'm happy to let folks know that I've been working on these issues, whether in a super minority or quietly, for a very long time. I'm not one of those celebrity politicians. I'm not like a Darlene Green or anything like that. I'm just a young man who wants to do a good job for our city, and I don't need all the accolades for it. I just need for us to be better, and I need for us to be growing as a city again.
Okay, so once again, how can one reach you and how can one help you?
You can reach me on my website at michaelbutler.org, and you'll see various different ways to volunteer or donate, or you can email me directly at michael@michaelbutler.org. You can call me on my cell, or text is best. Text me at 314-324-9163.
Say that again real slow.
Text me at 314-324-9163.
Okay, anything you'd like to say in closing, Michael?
I'm standing on your shoulders, Bernie Hayes, and I'm blessed that you still have this platform to let folks know about what's going on in our community from a personal and a very honest way and an honest standpoint. And I want to be back here time and time again to have a great conversation, a long-form conversation about what we can do to better things in our community.
I promise you will. Thanks so much, Michael.
Thank you, man.
And thanks each and every one of you for supporting New Life Evangelistic Center. I'm Bernie Hayes, and see you next time.